My dear guests, I am Mr. Rourke, your host. Welcome to Fantasy Island.
Am I being honest about living in the Philippines? This is going to be my honest review. I've been here for 2.5 years living in the Philippines, and here's the hard truth that no one talks. When I came here, I had heard this story, and I'm going to share it with you. There was a man who had died, and he went to heaven. And when he stood at the gates of heaven, and he was looking at the angels, they were floating around in the clouds, playing harps. And he wanted to go into heaven, and the angel said, "Wait, wait, wait! Before you come in here, you have to check out hell. We always give you a chance to make a choice. You take that elevator over there and go down and check it out." So he jumps on the elevator and he goes down and he opens up, and there's this big ass party. I mean, people having a ball. I mean, women drinking, you name it, it's going on. So he jumped back on the elevator and he go back up, and the angel standing at the gates of heaven said, "Well, what do you think?" He said, "It's too boring up here. I want to go back down to hell." He said, "Okay, fine." And he got back on the elevator and he went back down. But when he went back down, he saw they was all banging on the wall. They were crying. They was all upset. They was saying, "Oh no, I done messed up. I done fucking messed up." And so the guy went over, and there was the devil sitting on his throne. And he said, "Devil, devil, what happened? What happened? Was having such a good time." The devil turned to him and said, "Yesterday was open house." That's the way I'm going to start this story out for y'all. Because when I first came here, I was taken back by the smiling people, nice weather, all the food. I was staying in Sundance Residence Inn over by Yala Mall, and it was fabulous. I felt a sense of freedom. I felt the relaxing atmosphere, and everybody smiled. So I decided to go home and sell everything, and I moved here. That was 2.5 years ago. Smiling faces tell lies. It's just like the U.S. Pockets of prosperity surrounded by what seems like poverty. Remember, I said seems, but it's not. I learned about having a target on my back because I'm a foreigner. I was surprised, but being an African American, I've always had a target on my back. Then, really being honest, after being here, I had to ask myself, am I being a YouTube pimp? This is what I mean by this. I tell people on YouTube how good it is, but I never talk about how bad it is. YouTube pimps. That's what this is up here. If you're going to tell them how good it is, one guy said something that sounded so dumb to me. He said, "Look, it took me 9 years to find a good one." 9 years? 9 fucking years? Some of us ain't got another day. Well, the YouTube pimp is like this. He's standing in front of the club saying, "Come on in and enjoy the show." And we have a lot of show in there, and you can sit around and talk to the girls. Then you get into the show, and then you find out you have to buy drinks for the girls that are overpriced and watered down just to sit down. Do you see the dishonesty and manipulation in that? YouTubers talking about the Philippines, and a link in the description for meeting Filipino women. YouTube pimps. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's like, what the hell is going on here? Foreigners come here and get taken. The women hunt for foreigners in the mall. Women talk about getting a foreigner like they're hunting for a trophy to hang on their wall. It's like a scam. They wear a mask, get to move in with you, and then they spring the trap. I've had that happen to me. I came over here for a long difference distance relationship. She moved in, and I had to pay her to move out. She started acting out, want to leave, and you have to pay her to stay. Filipino women can be emotionally abusive. That's that Tampo stuff. Some Filipinos are mentally challenged. There's something missing. I've talked to other expats about this. Having a really intelligent conversation with some of them is just impossible. It's not up there. They don't have it. But here's something I really wanted to get into. You hear about being scammed, but you never hear about what happens to the scammer. This is a true story. I was going into a meeting, and just as I got to the door to the meeting, a car drove up, and somebody inside the building came out and helped this woman out the car. You could tell she was recovering from a stroke. You know, her walk was, she was limping with a stroke limp, and part of her body was paralyzed. As the meeting started, she got up in front of the meeting and she told people, I have to tell y'all this story. She said that she had been cheating on her husband. She had had a stroke, and her husband found out that she had been cheating on him for the third time. He had forgiven her twice before, but this was the third time. And then he found out that she was cheating with her daughter's boyfriend. This is a true story. Pay very close attention to this because there's a moral to this. And this was the third time. He, so what he did was, she said, he delivered the divorce papers in the hospital. Right. He served it. He said, I'm not doing this no more. He was a pretty good guy. He had his own business, had bought a house, car, was taking care of her, her daughter, and her grandkids. Her daughter picked up with this guy, started sleeping with him, and she started sleeping with him too. And she came in there to tell us that as a warning. You have to be, if the drugs don't get you, your behavior will. And that's what I'm seeing here. 2 weeks later, that woman was dead. She was dead 2 weeks later. See, these are the stories that you don't hear about betrayal. When it's a scammer and we talk about, oh, he should have known better, we don't know what God's plan is. It may have been meant for God to have him go through that experience, but he didn't lose anything. The scammers lose. We don't never see what happens to them. I've lived long enough to see that happen. I'm gonna tell you this one last story. If you liking this so far, this story means a lot to you. I got a whole lot more I'm coming out with because I'm grateful for my third eye opening and what I'm seeing here in the Philippines. This country is spiritually bankrupt. Morals and values. Mm-mm. So what we see, what appears to be poverty, could be the consequences for their morals and values. A scammer is a thief and a betrayer. What kind of world would this be if you could do that in this world and there was no consequence? I'm gonna share this last story with you. A friend of mine, he was with a girl and he said he didn't want no children. She said okay. She was taking birth control pills. She was 30. She ended up pregnant. She didn't tell him she stopped taking the birth control pills and she got pregnant, and he ended up having to pay child support for 18 years. Now, what happened at the end was this: once the child support was over, she had to file bankruptcy. She was financially destitute as far as we ever found out, and that's the last I ever heard of her. If you're liking this comment, subscribe, help support my channel, subscribe to my newsletter below, and I'll see you around.